Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name's Katie and I upload book-related videos every single Wednesday, and this is my second non-book themed video in a couple of weeks. But since it's Halloween, I assume you guys don't mind that I'm just doing a bunch of creepy Halloween-esque videos. Last week I did a video on creepy places to visit, like seeing Halloween Town in real life and the Shining Hotel in real life. That will be linked above. But today I want to focus on my favorite creepy podcasts. Now I was going to do a video just on my favorite podcasts in general, but then I realized the only one that I listen to that isn't, you know, true crime or horror related is Watch What Crappens. And that one is hilarious, but you're only going to find it funny if you watch anything on Bravo like Real Housewives. That one is amazing, but all the other ones I listen to for the most part are either true crime or horror, folklore related. So I'm gonna be talking about all of the ones I've listened to. And I will say, normally with my book reviews, I like to be as objective. I need to back up a little. My five head's just like beaming off this light. But generally with my book reviews, I like to be as objective as possible. However, with podcasts, that is not the case, and things are gonna be very subjective just based on what I personally like. And we are going to rate all the podcasts using this really poorly edited system of a 1 to 5 pumpkin scale. So let's go ahead and get into it in no particular order, and I will have all of the podcasts listed down below. Now we are going in no particular order except for the first one, because I did just want to start off with just my all-time favorite, and that is Criminal. Well, Criminal episodes are generally around 30 minutes. Phoebe Judge and her beautifully seductive voice is the host. And as you can tell from the title, it's anything related to criminal activity. Most often it's true crime, but for example, one episode a couple weeks back interviewed a woman who just reviews mystery novels and crime novels, and that one was fascinating. But these episodes are so well done. So if you're one of those people who like only listen to podcasts if they're very high quality, you're gonna like this one. I also could just listen to her say, "I'm Phoebe Judge and this is Criminal." I could listen to her say that on loop 100 times. So this is easily my favorite podcast of all time. So I'm gonna, not surprisingly, give it 5 out of 5 pumpkins. Then we have a really interesting one, and that is lore. So not surprisingly from the title, you can tell this has a lot to do with folklore. If you want to hear podcasts about vampires, anything mythical, this one is so well done and really interesting. I will say I only listen to this one like once a month. It's just something I personally really have to be in the mood for. One minor gripe I have is if, say, for example, you want to listen to the lore episode on witches, their descriptions of their episodes are so detailed but also very vague. So it is just really difficult to find episodes in their history that you're interested in. So I'm going to give lore 4 out of 5 pumpkins. Now we have Killa No Filla, I believe that's what it's called, and this is two friends, it's two girls living in Scotland. They're very funny and they tend to focus on one true crime event per episode. And it's a good balance because yes, they're funny and they talk about their personal lives, but they also get super detailed into the actual crime. My only gripes with this podcast is one, that they just upload really infrequently, and two, that the sound quality, at least on the ones I've listened to, it's either very low, or when they laugh or say something loud, I like almost slam on my brakes because it's just like screeching in my ears. But other than that, if you want a chatty true crime podcast, Killa No Filla is great. And I will give it 3.5 out of 5 pumpkins. I'm going to talk about this one next because it's similar to Killa No Filla, and that is an incredibly popular podcast, and that is My Favorite Murder. Now I will admit I initially didn't have this one on the list only because a lot of you guys had recommended that I check this one out, and I know a lot of you guys personally really love it, and I don't know, but for whatever reason I just feel bad to say that I personally cannot get into this one. Now I wonder, and please let me know for those of you who are avid listeners of My Favorite Murder, do you think the problem might be that I'm getting into it too late? Because I'm listening to just mainly the new episodes as they come out. And for me at least, I feel like 20% of the episode, and they're long, they're an hour and a half, I feel like it is so inundated with ads, which I know you might say, well Katie, just fast forward, they need to make money, what's the big deal? I get it, but I listen to podcasts while I drive, and I swear there were 2 ads at the beginning, they talked for 10 minutes, then there was another ad, they talked for 10 more minutes, then there was another ad, and I can't fast forward it because I'm driving. And I can totally understand why people love this, but for me at least when it comes to true crime, it either has to be super detail oriented or so funny that I'm cackling out loud, and for this one it's neither. It's low on detail and it's like kind of funny. So for this one I'm gonna give it 2.5 out of 5 pumpkins just based off of the ones that I have listened to. But if you were an avid My Favorite Murder fan, please let me know which episode you think I should start with if you have a favorite. Now we are going to talk about S-Town, and this is easily one of my favorite podcasts of all time. All I'm going to say about S-Town is that it's sort of a true crime podcast, but this emotionally impacted me so much more than I was anticipating. It takes place in the Deep South, and that's all I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna give S-Town 5 out of 5 pumpkins. Now, semi-related in that I think it's the same creators, we have Serial, and this really kind of broke the ground and being one of the first really popular true crime podcasts. I've listened to the majority of season 1 and I haven't started season 2. I will say, I don't know if it's because I was late to the game on this one. I think if I'd been following it while it was live, I would have been much more invested because I would have been finding out the information with everybody else. But for me, I think I got 5 or 7 episodes in, and then I just like broke down and read a summary of all the episodes online. With the first season of Serial, it tracks the murder of a teenage girl and the guy who supposedly killed her who's in jail. If you want a very, very, very detail-oriented podcast, I do recommend checking this one out. So for me, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 pumpkins. Now we have Last Podcast on the Left, which I almost think this is kind of the male equivalent of My Favorite Murder. And I say that because this one also, a lot of people find it very funny. It's a few guys sitting around talking about true crime. And I will say, when I first listened to this one, I didn't realize it was coming up on my queue on my podcast list while I was driving. And when the first episode started, this is the first time I listened to it, I swear to God, I almost got into a car crash. The intros to their podcasts are very intense, to say the least. So I know I compared it to My Favorite Murder, and I also feel similarly towards this one as I do My Favorite Murder, in that I just can't get into it. Again, I totally get why people like it. I personally haven't been able to get more into 10-15 minutes to one of these, so I'm not going to rate it out of pumpkins just because I don't think that'd be very fair, considered I haven't listened to a single episode from beginning to end. And finally, I wanted to end our last one on a very Halloween themed podcast, and that is No Sleep. And now I knew of No Sleep from Reddit, but I didn't realize that it was a podcast as well. Maybe that was just me, but I came across this one when I just went to the podcast app and I searched Halloween, and I came across the No Sleep podcast, season 6, episode 6, Halloween 2015. So these are all fictional short stories that are really well acted. It's little Halloween themed vignettes, and nothing has gotten me in the Halloween spirit more than this. These are just so creepy, fun, and just really, really well done. So I've actually only gone through and listened to the No Sleep Halloween edition episodes, so please let me know what you guys think about their other ones. And for No Sleep, I will give it 5 out of 5 pumpkins. So those are my thoughts on a ton of creepy true crime or horror podcasts. Please let me know if you guys have any favorites that I didn't talk about. Also let me know if you agree or disagree with my feelings on some. This weekend is also going to be very Halloween themed, and then I'm going to Sleepy Hollow. So definitely follow me on Instagram, because I'm sure I'll be Instagram storying a bunch. So if you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.